Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Real Invest Webcast episode 004. Good to have everybody here. My name is Joseph Ola. I'm a realtor in the Southern Ontario area here, and I'm also an investor. I'm here to bring to you the chronicles of real estate investors with the hopes that you can achieve the same things they've achieved. And here on the show, you will learn how to do it, but not only that, you would also get motivated to get going. And today, I'd like you to please like the video if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and share and subscribe to the channel as well, so that you can continue to journey with us as we review the chronicles of real estate investors. My name again is Joseph Ola, and it's been a wild ride for me for the past 4 weeks. This is our fourth episode, and we have a treat today. Our guest today is a very good friend of mine. We've known each other for over a decade now, and I'm positive that her passion is going to infect you to get up and do something. Her name is Deborah Ojo. She's also a realtor. She's actually a broker and a real estate investor as well. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce my guest once again, Deborah Ojo. Everybody, round of applause. All right, Deborah, welcome to the show today. Really glad to have you here. Could you please introduce yourself to the house?
Since they also muted. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Deborah Ojo. I'm a real estate agent as well as a real estate investor. I do tell people that when I'm not investing in real estate myself, I am helping my clients build their portfolio. And honestly, that's what I do. That's my passion. That's what I live for. Um, yeah. So some of you might know me as Deborah Ohms. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Exciting. Really glad to have you on the show, helping others build their portfolio. And I'm sure that's what a lot of viewers are looking forward to doing. So, yes, it's going to be an exciting time. Can you tell us about what motivates you to get started in investing?
Okay, so what motivated me to start? I was kind of joking about this earlier. Is a lot of people it's for financial reasons, right? And I think for me, at a very young age, I was trying to find what I would be passionate about at the same time while having financial freedom. And real estate just kind of ticked the box for me. So what motivated me was, looking for financial freedom, and at the end of the day, looking for something that I'm really, really going to be passionate about. They say when you're working, but you love it so much, it doesn't feel like you're working. So it feels like you're on vacation every single day. And I think that's what real estate has done for me. Now, my journey into real estate a while ago. And at first, I bought my first property, and I was living in that property. I was fine, but I still find that we're living hand to mouth. And specifically, my life changing moments is when I went to visit my kids' school, my first daughter. And every time I go there, I will be rushing in and out. Other parents are there taking their time, driving their Mercedes Benz, doing their thing. And they are there talking and trying to gist with the teachers, and they are there for PA meetings. And I seem to be struggling to just have a work-life balance with my job. My husband works in the morning, so I have to pick up my kids. And those people still appear to have the time, but also have a comfortable lifestyle. They didn't seem to. I went to go streets. I changed environments. I went from Toronto to Brampton. So I go to go street shops, and you are maybe spending credit cards. Most people spend credit cards or their debits, and these people are cashing out checks. You're looking for the deals on the market. You're looking for which grocery is on sale, which clothes is on sale, and you're telling your kids, no, you can't have this one. Look, go straight to the sales aisle. And
Right.
these people are not doing that. My environment just changed, and that just lit a light bulb in my head. And I'm like, Deborah, there has to be more to life than just working so hard and still living, still having peanuts and having nothing to show for it. So I decided to do a lot of research to how are people making money? What is it that I'm doing wrong? I'm working hard. I have a husband. We have a house, but we still seems to, be budgeting every single time. I'm not saying budgeting is the wrong thing, but I believe that we should all live a life of abundance. So I started asking questions. What are you doing? So what are you into? And a lot of them are into real estate. I also went online. I started googling, how to be a millionaire, the richest people, what are they doing? And I found that real estate seems to be the key. Now, fast forward after that, I think 18 months after we bought our first home, my husband was like, it was January. Everybody was writing their vision. And he said, I think that we should be selling a house. I think it's time to move on. Out of the blue, my husband now is a very spiritual man. So when he provides me with a leading, I just follow. So I said, okay, sure, I would work on that. So I am the executor. I will execute it. He gives the direction, I execute it. So I called um, then a realtor and I said, hey, I think it's time for us to move. This house is comfortable. The house was nice. It has two living room. It was our first house. We had a separate entrance. We were renting. It was nice, but he said we should, you know, move. And I said, okay, let's move. So we sold the house then and we made over $300,000 from the house within 18 months. And I'm like, yeah, that just kind of um, lit another light bulb in my head. That was another defining moment. I'm like, okay, I've been researching and people have been saying real estate is the key to wealth. And just having this amount of money within 18 months is I wouldn't have had that by working hard. So I just told myself, you know what, this is what I wanted to do. So from that night, I started researching more about real estate. I started listening to podcasts. I would listen to shows. I will go to meetups and stuff like that to just learn about real estate. So yeah, that was my journey into real estate in short. And yeah, that was what motivated me. My family, my kids, and just not budgeting every single time. I'm telling my daughter, no, you can't have that because we couldn't afford it. So
That's right. Wow, wow. That's already loaded in that. The first thing I took away there is that yes, we say that the financial rewards is the reason why we want to get into real estate investing, but uh finances itself is not, it's not an end in itself, right? It's what it enables us to do. For you, it's about family, it's about your kids, about your household. You want that comfort. You don't want to have to search for the sales aisle whenever you go into a boutique. You're looking for those special tags that says 60% off, and when the store doesn't have that, then you have to walk out. Eventually you narrowed it down to what it is. The money enables you. The money itself is, it's just, it could be
it's
numbers
expensive.
or it could be paper, right?
Yeah,
But it's what it allows you to do, which is take care of your family, take care of your kids, and give a better life. And uh, as a matter of fact, it actually gives you more time to be with your family. Deborah here can bear with me witness in the days of 3 jobs, 4 jobs. That was something.
by the way,
Okay.
I still met some of my colleagues. You guys may not know, but me and Joseph went a while back. Okay,
Yeah,
let me
way
just
back.
interrupt for a second. I never used to like the name Deborah. I used to say I don't like people call Deborah, Debo. This people spoil my name so much, and I'm like, when I went, he's like, "What's your name?" My name is Tosi. Call me Tosi. And he
Mm.
was like, Deborah. So we're working at the same location, and he said, "Oh, Deborah means the Bible name is Bible." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." So right from there, Joseph convinced me to actually start answering the name Deborah. So you guys are not Deborah at home. So now you have a little bit of insight
Oh,
as to
wow.
why I started actually answering to that name. But yeah, I think I went for a picnic the other time, like last weekend, and I saw some of our colleagues there. And it was just, it's a, for me, it's just been grateful from, where we started to where we are right now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you give me chills just talking about way back there, because I can clearly remember what life was like back then. We
Yeah,
both worked night shifts, and for me, I had to go to another job in the morning,
yeah,
and there were years at the time that I did not see my kids. Like, I would come home on the weekends and I was gone all week because I was hopping from one job to another. So again, what did real estate investment, for example, do for me? It's the fact that I can actually see my kids. I can drop my
yeah.
kids off at school.
I
Back
know.
then, I would leave my wife to do that because she worked in the city. I walked out of the city. So
Yeah,
yeah, nothing. Your life is all about the impact you leave on your children, on your on the people around you. And if you don't have time to do that because you spend all your time chasing a paycheck, that's really not the kind of life that God wants us to live, or we want to live ourselves, right?
of course.
So thanks for that. And talking about getting your first property and selling it, and the light bulb coming on just after that sale. That's the exact same story with me too. I bought my first property like 2010,
Yeah.
and it was a little townhouse in Brampton for
I think I moved to Brampton and you moved away.
right. Sorry. And I moved to St. Catherine's, and one of my friends who moved away. So it's like, okay, that's payback. Anyways, yeah, I bought the property, I think 160,000, and sold it for like 210 a couple of years later. And I thought that was big money. I
Yeah.
thought like, wow, I sold my property for like 50 grand more in just about a couple of years.
Mhm.
That's 2011. So, and again, if all you do is collect paychecks, $50,000 is a lot.
Back then, there's inflation now, so 50,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money. But let's say
Yeah.
$50,000 then was a lot of money in 2011.
Yep.
So yeah, for sure, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, even for folks that are listening to us now, $50,000 to a lot of people is still a lot of money.
For sure. I mean, for most people, there are many people where like minimum wage is still what, 40 something thousand a year.
Yeah, I think it's about it works out to be $17, 16 something, $17 per hour.
That's right. Yeah, 17 will give you about 34 a
Yeah.
year. So yeah, if all you did was just buy a house, lived in it for about a year and a half or two, and then you moved out, sold the house, and you got a year's worth of pay, I'd say that's a good deal to me, right?
And I would think that one of the things that I love about real estate is number one, it gives you the time. Number two is the leverage that you have, right? You can buy another house and use that money to and get some money and use it to buy another house. The other thing that I love about it is it's passive. So while I am taking care of my kids, while I'm doing all my things, I can still be accumulating wealth for myself. And I think for me, that's the fact that I am sleeping and my tenants are paying my bills, right? To me, that is the most interesting thing about real estate. So I could never trade my time for money. And frankly, now I don't trade my time for money anymore, right? I'm not working and expecting my supervisor or my manager to pay me and debate whether or not that 30 minutes extra that I spent is
No,
actually should be paid, right? So I think the fact that we're not trading our time for money because we only have limited supply of time, 24 hours a day. And
that's right.
now I can buy multiple houses and I'm not using my time to trade to get that money back. I think
Hmm.
that's the most important thing that people have to do. So you can have stocks, you can be working hard, you can be getting paid, but you have to think if I don't want to work, then I don't want to have to work if I don't want to work.
Hmm.
And
That's
to
right.
me, that's my goal. That's my objective. I don't want to be forced to do something when I don't want to.
Right. And if all you live on is your paycheck, then you really have to get up and go to that job, even when you don't want to.
When you don't want to, even
Yeah.
when you hate your manager, you have to do it.
I worked up until less than 5 years ago. I worked like an hour away from home, and there are days, especially in the winter, that I wake up and I don't want to head out. I
Yeah.
really like I there are days, just because I'm so the spirit wasn't right. There are days where it's been maybe a couple of times that I had accidents just going to work.
Oh no.
So yeah, it's a big deal for you to just be able to live the kind of lifestyle you want to live and work at your own pace. And yeah, you know what, this kind of leads us to a question that we were supposed to have down the line, which is what real estate has done for you, the rewards that has given to you. So I will just spend a little bit more time here before we go to the next question. So, what are the other things that you would say you've benefited from being a real estate investor?
I would say having time to spend with my family. So
Mm,
my husband used to work a very hard schedule. So he would wake up in the morning around 4 a.m. He would go to work around yeah, he would wake up and go to work around 4 a.m. So I was left with the kids. And
mm,
he would come back around maybe 3 o'clock, but at that time he's tired because he had an early morning, so we couldn't really spend time together. You know that
right.
Canadian life where husband and wife are not really spending time together. As you are coming in, they are coming out. So now we can say we do have time for each other. We've had time to even work on our marriage, our relationship, and spend time actually with our kids and also with my husband. That's the first thing. The other thing, after now you're comfortable. I'm not a very flamboyant lifestyle kind of person. Even till now, a lot of people that still knows me knows that I am still like myself. You know, I if I want to go drink Zobo for $1, that's what I want. That's what satisfies me. It's not how much I pay for it. So I still budget for my things. But what I really also love is traveling. So real estate has helped me to be able to afford going on luxury vacations, right? So that has helped me to do that. It also helped me to be a light to people around me. For me, you know, some people preach, some people they sing stuff like you are a musician, but for me, just being able to spread the gospel of God wants us to do this, and this is the way to do it. You know, it says, go and learn from how the unbelievers are doing it, and they are
Mm-hmm.
making so much. And so, Real Access has allowed me, it's my own auditorium, it's my own platform to show people the light and say, hey, this is the way to do it. You have 4 kids, and I know how much you're struggling. Why don't
Mm-hmm.
you try this? So that in itself is more fulfilling than anything else. I've helped my parents, I've helped my family, my friends, my siblings, and just to see that, come and see what is possible. And two, a lot of my clients are blacks, and I have helped account uncountable number of black families reach financial freedom through real estate, through what I know, guiding them and saying this is the way. So when people make their first million in real estate, and Deborah Owens is a successful, it has been part of the journey. It just gives me um, that feeling of just being happy for them, right? Not because they're sharing the money with me, but just
Mm-hmm.
knowing that, well, I was part of their life story, and that is my life. That is my light shining to them, to the
Mm-hmm.
world. And yeah, I think that's one of those are some of the things that real estate has helped me to achieve.
That's really awesome. So we can talk about the tangibles where okay, this is financial, this is the financial reward I've received, but the intangibles sometimes are the biggest. The impact we make on people, there are families that will never forget you because you show them how to make sure that they have a secured financial future, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that some people come to be an investor and they quit their job, but at least they know that there's some level of financial security is possible for them now because you've showed them the ropes. So those kind of things, those testimonies that you get from people, they're you can't buy them, you can't pay for
Yeah,
them. They're just so precious.
I think so. A lot of my clients, one of my clients will be like, "Oh, she'll still call me Debo." Debo, I tell my supervisor. He said, I told my supervisor, I don't want extra shifts. I only want this shift, and that's it. If she call in sick, sometimes she'll be scared of calling in sick. She said, no, I have the right to call in sick, and I don't
Mm,
have to ask for your permission. It's there for me to call in sick. So if you want to
yeah.
fire me, go ahead. She's like, this guy doesn't know how much. It's like this yeah person doesn't know how that I can even buy him over and over. That's what I can say. And to me, I'm like, Auntie, wow, that
Calm
that is
down.
and that is a testimony. She left her. She used to do 2 jobs. Now she's down to 1 job, and now she doesn't feel pressured to go to work. She doesn't feel pressured to work for a bad boss,
Mm,
because she
wow.
has that level of financial freedom.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let's get to the meat of the matter now. What are the investment strategies that you employ the most?
Okay. So I do a number of strategies. I do pre-construction. I don't do it as much. I would say pre-construction is probably maybe 20% of my investment strategies. And I say this because, we are both real estate agents, and a lot of people are into pre-construction. So I do it as well, but it's about 20%. And the other thing that I do a lot is buy and hold. So I just buy and hold a lot of my properties, and when I say my properties, it's me and my husband. Okay, so it's just not me. If I don't have the support of that guy, that man, I wouldn't be where I am today. So let's just say that. So a lot of our properties is buy and hold. Some of them are we did a lot of flips as well. So we flip few properties in a year, 3 to 5 properties, and we buy on average of maybe another 3 to 5 properties a year as well, just to hold. So that's just kind of what we do. And then I do some JV. I do some JV with some of my clients or friends that I just feel, those people are, there's some people that I want to um, have more relationship with, or just think that okay, this might be, a what's the point? A good partner, right? Because not everybody is a good partner. So I do JV with them a lot, and JV to me is like a side hustle. So like you would say, real estate is my full time job, and real estate investing is also my full time job. Joint venturing with somebody is a side hustle for me. So I would do those ones part time, I call it, because they're not long term. So I do it maybe for a year or two. We buy the properties together. We just did one in Aurelia. We sold it, made a ton of money from there. And I'm also trying to use that again to show people that are a little bit scared, doesn't want to put all their money in one basket, and show them that, I'm going to JV alongside with you. So that's also what I do on the side. Those are strategies I use.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you can see that there are quite a few ways to get it done. I don't want to use the last language I
Still a
used
cat.
last in a cat. Yeah, and my guest on the show had cats, so I'm not gonna say that again because yeah, some people might take offense to that. I don't touch your animals, please. Disclaimer: I will not skin a cat. I eat chickens. Yeah, but I won't skin a cat. But yeah, there are different ways to do it. And personally, I feel like it could be a temperamental thing. Sometimes some type of strategies seems to suit some type of personality, and there are different levels of involvement that people want, in their investments as well. So different strategies would avail different things. So yeah, it's good to know that you're doing quite a few. So a lot of people will be able to you'll be able to help a lot of people in those channels as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So what were the major challenges that you encountered when you were starting out?
Um, the major challenges that encountered are, I would think, finances is always, as a new investor when you're starting, real
Mhm,
estate is not a cheap thing. It's not like you go to stocks and you're buying McDonald's. I don't know how much, maybe $10 or $20 per stock or something. It's very capital intensive, and I would tell you, I share my story because, again, when I think when people don't see other people that look like them to be able to connect with. They just feel like this thing is not unachievable. You're not human or something like that. No, it's not. I started real estate at the time when we started. That was a funny story because we had some money that we already had, and then we went to my parents to borrow to add to it, and from their line of credits, and that's when also connecting with people that are like-minded, whether it's your family, your parents, or even friends, are very important. So we connected with them. We borrowed the money from them, bought the house, paid it back, and then gradually paid it over a year. That's how we started into real estate. So when I said $300,000 when we sold our first house was a lot of money, it was actually a lot of money because we only borrowed $10,000 from them at the time, and it took us a year to pay back. Okay,
hmm,
because at this time I already had my kids. Already had a few kids. I was going in and out of maternity, so it took us a year to pay back. So I'll say, um, just raising the capital was one of the major things that
mhm,
we had to do. And we were able to overcome it by just surrounding ourselves with people that were ready to help us and buy into our dream. When I also decided to go into real estate full time, I would think that just the mindset was we are ourselves. We are the one that can stop ourselves too, right? So mindset was something that I would say could have been a challenge
mhm.
of whether I can actually do this. Should I do this full time? How are we going to actually balance? Now you're going into entrepreneurship, and you don't know whether you're going to sell, whether you're going to make money, and now you're going further into debt and all of that. Because I am thankful for my husband that said, you know what, babe, just keep going. Whatever it is, we're gonna figure it together. So I think having a very strong foundation of just people around you that believes in your dream, even sometimes more than what you believe or what you see for yourself, is very, very helpful. And just blocking all the naysayers. I did block all the naysayers. I told you, Joseph. I blocked everybody and everybody that I think and anything that I think was going to stop me from my goal. If I think you weren't going to buy into my dream, I blocked you. And then when I started having when I'm convinced myself and I'm fully embedded into it, I unblock some people that I feel like, okay, maybe now you can see the lights. But some people I still didn't give attention to, because they just suck so much energy from you, and they don't allow you to focus on what it is that you're about to do, right? So
Yeah, I've seen that quite a lot too, and I guess the key there is to have the right people around you. One of the things that just came to me as you were speaking is that it is important that you yourself be a good person. Um, Sometimes it doesn't necessarily matter if you have good people around you. If you yourself have not been good to people, then they might not be quite disposed to lend you. For example, parents, most parents will do anything for their kids,
mhm,
but if your parent didn't think that you were prudent with money, they may not be well disposed to hand that amount of cash to you. I had a guest, was it episode 2 was talking about how all the money he borrowed, he returned them much earlier than scheduled with
mhm.
all the interest paid. You need to build goodwill around you so that when it's time for people to actually invest in you, they are willing to do so. So that's a really important one.
And I think it's important also because a lot of people tend to burn bridges, right? We don't
Mm-hmm.
think of tomorrow. They just think about $10,000 then was a lot of money, but right now it's not a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about that $10,000, and if I had burned that bridges, I was still going to development and stuff like that earlier this year, and I
Mhm.
went back to my parents and I'm like, "Do you guys want to joint venture on this together?" And we're talking about millions of money. Now I have been able to prove myself with just 10,000 and much more along the line. And as you're going, you have to also understand sometimes you can't do everything alone. And in fact, in real estate, you don't do most things alone. I tell people I can't swing an hammer. I can't. I'm not one of those women that can get into things and get my hands dirty. No,
Mm.
and having contractors and having the team that surrounds you, you need to treat them right before they can be faithful and treat your business as theirs, right? So I think it's very important not to burn bridges and to think of tomorrow and opportunities that you and alliances and wealth that you can build together.
Yeah, talking about treating people right, and you mentioned, contractors. One thing I've seen contractors guilty of is leaving a job to go do another one, and
Yeah,
it's all about the person they're working with and what they have in what connection they have with that person. If you're an investor that they like to work with, they will kind of sneak your job in, even when
yeah,
you're crunch time, you want to get it done now. They will leave the job they're doing and come do yours, and they
of
would
course,
figure out what to do with the other job. But it's all about strengthening those relationships and making sure that you treat people right.
for sure.
Yeah. So but circling back to this particular question here, one major obstacle was money, and you had family around you to help you out. Did you look to other sources to help with funding your deals?
At the time, for my very first deal, no, I didn't. And just to let you know, when I'm also funding, when I'm asking for funds or seeking for funds, in most cases, to my investors, I would also have a way of paying, right? Because for me, also, my reputation is very important to me. It's my currency, honestly. So if I can't pay back, if I don't see a way through a project, I won't even embark on it. So for my parents, I got the money from them. I returned it to them as soon as they closed the property. I took it from my line of credit because I had a line of credit. So I paid it to them, and then I slowly paid myself back for
Mm,
a year, right? So that's how we did this. But nowadays, I do have investors, friends, clients that have become family that will say, "Hey, Deborah, what do you want me to do? Take this money and don't give it back to me until a year time." And that's
mm.
because you have been able to work with them for so long, and they can trust you with money. Money is a hard currency. It's a currency that people don't usually trust themselves. But if you walk the talk and you do all the things that you're supposed to do, people actually don't have problem doing it.
Yeah, yeah, it's and that's another mindset that you need to build as an investor, to know that money is actually available.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's a matter of knowing the right person that has the money lying around. There are many people who have money and they're not quite sure where to put it. it's a matter of safety. Obviously, people want to preserve their capital. So if there's no assurance, then people are they're just gonna seal their lips as if they don't have it. But many people have money sitting that if truly you've proven yourself, then it's often made available to you.
Sure.
Um, Another question here, then, that's quite similar to the first is, now that you're, I would say, an accomplished investor, what are the current challenges that you face?
Okay. Um, well, we're still on our way to getting to that height, right? Always setting new bars for ourselves.
That's right.
And I was saying to you so a while ago too that sometimes you do plateau, right? At where you are. Once you achieve all your goals, and for now you're spending time, you can go on vacation. Now what's next, right? And I think in that is finding yourself and finding a new why that challenges you. So that's currently like something that we're working through. The other thing is, I would say, is in real estate, there are a lot of things that can go wrong. So from borrowing capital to not being able to return it, for example, the current trends of what's going on right now, some strategies doesn't apply anymore to what we did 4 months ago. So for example, we're flipping a lot of properties. One of the property, as soon as I knew that the market was changing, one of the properties that we bought, we sold a lot of our properties. The ones that we're working on currently, we sold them at not nearly finishing what we wanted to do. But one of them was a property that we bought. It was a condo, and I usually don't buy condo. I don't buy condo properties for flipping or
Yeah,
for me to buy and own. But for this property, the price was right, so we bought it at the right price. I think we bought it for about $360,000 is what we paid for it. It's around London area. I have a lot of properties in London. So we knew that this property, if it was well done, we could sell it for around over 500,000. Um, so we bought the property, and unfortunately, we had a schedule as to which property we because we had multiple projects. We have sometimes three properties that we're working on at a time. So at this particular time, we have three properties. So we had a schedule and our contractors that was going to do this one and then move to this one. Sometimes we do it concurrently. So we had our projects planned, but it wasn't time yet, and the market was changing. We focused on those other ones. We sold it successfully, but this one, this condo, um, it just we got caught. So now we're deciding to keep the property. Is what we're doing. So we're keeping the property and renting it out. It's still not on the market yet, but now I'm stuck with paying condo fees until the market appreciates again and we can sell it for profits. Now, for me personally, I don't do flips if I can make $100,000. It's just to me, it's just not worth my time. It's not where I want to be. And for my finances and for my projections, it doesn't align to my goals and plans. So that's for once I could still sell it for profits. I would have made at least $50,000 from it. But I just decided to be greedy and hold on to it. It's not so bad because it's still going to break even. And I think with my cash flow, it's maybe around $200.
that's right. Okay. So the key there then with that challenge is really, again, making sure that your strategy is sort of well robust at the beginning, right? You have the wherewithal to hold on to this property the market just doesn't pan out like it is right now. It looks like you're able to hold on to it. One that I was discussing with you earlier was a case where the deal was financed with a C lender, and interest rate was crazy. So because the investor had to hold on to it for a long time, it was a case where the entire deal was a loss, but it wasn't a huge loss. It was right around break even, give or take about 10,000, but it was something that we could walk away with without being bankrupt. So it's said often that you make your money in real estate when you buy. That's why
Yes.
it's important to know your onions when you're running the numbers. Make sure the numbers work out. And 100,000 is a good buffer. If your number says that you're gonna make 100,000, even if the market flips, it's kind of hard for you to lose a
So
100,000.
exactly. And I think that is very important, making sure you buy right the first time. And also sometimes I didn't just go into flipping. A lot of my clients will come to me and say, "Hey Deborah, I want to start flipping. Hey, What are your goals? How much do you have? Do you have experience? No, no, no. Well, why should you be going to flipping? And I know we want to do some quick, just quick one in microwave generation, they call us now. But maybe that's not the right strategy for you, because when you lose money in flips, you actually lose a lot of money, right?
Mm.
And just making sure all your strategies. So for me, when I'm also buying something, I make sure I have strategy A, B, C. I don't just stop at A. So if I can't flip this property, what can I do with it? If I can't do that B plan, what is my C plan? I have to have exit strategy, especially when you're taking money that doesn't belong to you. So for example, for me, I typically don't like going to add money lenders. I would take partners sometimes if I don't have enough funds to fund this property. And I will also explain to them, hey, this is the plan, but this is the B plan. If you're not able to flip the property, our second plan is to keep the property, and that means we might not sell until 2 or 5 years. Please don't come and give me your child school fees money, because I
Uh-huh.
won't I won't return it, right? So that's part of me scrutinizing and making sure that all our plans are going to work, with all things being equal, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. For all the people joining us on the show, you're on the episode 004 of Real Invest Webcast. Here we're going through the chronicles of real estate investors, hoping to help you learn and succeed in your real estate investment journey. And my guest here is Deborah Ojo, Deborah Holmes on social media. You can check her out. She's always live almost every other day, and she's got good stuff going on. Please check her out, okay? And please, if you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and like the video and share with your loved ones or anybody you know that will be interested in what we're talking about here. We have come to a good point where we can actually discuss the trends of market, because we've sort of talked about how the market had affected some of your investments. So, Deborah, how do you see the current trends of the real estate market right now?
The market is definitely slowing down. I think that's normal in news, right? It's not new. The market is slowing down. The good thing about working with real estate agents is that they can tell you what is going on in real time, right? So, like I said, as soon as I figure out some things were going to change, interest rates was going to rise. We started changing and adapting to our strategies to that. So right now the market has slowed down considerably. Before, as real estate agents, when you have listings, you're jumping up, you're the king in the jungle.
Yeah,
And right now, when you have buyers, you are the king in the jungle, because
yeah.
people are not buying as much. But I think what Warren Buffett said, I always refer back to that, is when people are fearing and doing nothing, that's when you should be jumping in to buy something, right? So do exactly what every other people is not doing. And I think that a typical example was during COVID. During COVID, we didn't know if the world was going to end. We were all going to die of pandemics, but some of us that did went in and just buy anyways. We made a ton of money. So I think this is an opportunity where real estate is on sale right now, and as long as your numbers work, you should go ahead and do and still buy, right? Because right now real estate is on sale. And I also tell people before, in 2021, you could afford to make mistakes, because you could buy a house in January and flip it without doing anything to it. I actually did that. Without doing anything to it, you flip it right back 6 months later and still make a lot of money.
Mm.
But right now, you can afford to make mistakes. So if your fundamentals are not tight, you don't know how to run numbers correctly, you should go find yourself a coach, find yourself a real estate agent that can guide you correctly. Go listen to podcasts. And I'm not saying listening to everything and not do anything, because that's something else that people do. They listen to all this, they have all this information, but they never act on it. Well, you're not going to be a billionaire that way by not acting. But go find information, make sure your numbers are tight, run your numbers, make sure you have cash flow, you're buying in a good location, so that you can arm yourself for whatever the market is gonna do. And I also tell people I can control the market. I wish Deborah just, can just say, hey, this is what the market is gonna do tomorrow. I don't know honestly what the market is gonna do tomorrow, but what I know is my strategies right now are going to be right, and I know that I do have ABC plans for all of my investment options and strategies.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really important to again make sure that you have backups You like plan A, you want to flip it. Plan B, you're gonna hold it. Plan C, whatever that is. Just make sure that you're foolproof, especially when you're using OPM. You don't want to toy with. I mean, some people will, if they've seen your proven record, people can trust you enough to really go cash out their retirement money and give to you. And that's not the money to experiment with. You better
Um,
know what you're doing.
and it's not
So
fair either. If you don't believe in something 100%, why should I go take my mom's retirement money that is safe and secured to now doing something that I don't trust or believe in?
right, right. So it's important to be a bit weary. Don't jump at the opportunity to take other people's money and just use it if you're not confident of what you're doing. Even your money, neither you shouldn't. Get educated. And in this day and age, too, there's tons of information online. We're giving more information over here, so take your time to learn, ask questions, and you'll get there. The information's out there. Just stick around. If you stick around long enough, you'll learn enough to get going. um you said something that really impresses me that we need to think about, really, that you need to learn to work against the tides. So if everybody is selling, you need to know that it might be a strategic time for you to actually buy, because right now everybody is now saying, "Oh, the market is dropping," and instead of people to figure out how to get in now because the market is dropped, they are beginning to be weary, saying that, "You know what, the market is falling, why should I buy now?" It's like you're thinking backwards.
Yeah.
This is the time to buy.
I think talk is cheap. A lot of people listen. Sometimes when we don't want to do something, we tell ourselves a thousand excuses as to why we shouldn't do it. When the market was hot and people were making money, they were complaining that, I don't have enough money. It's just too hot. It's gonna crash. Now the market went down a little bit and is on sale, and you're still complaining that you don't want to buy it because of the market is just too down and you're not gonna make money. And my question to that person is, what actually do you have? What can you control, right? If you can't control when the day breaks or when the sun rises, then you really cannot control the markets, right? So you have to tell yourself and get into, first of all, educating yourself. And once you educate yourself as to this is how I can do it, and you have backup plans, then you do it anyways. I mean, what is there to lose? Before, we used to calculate real estate as 3% appreciation year over year.
Yep.
In the last year, we were calculating at about 30%, right? So even if real estate went back to 3%, for me, that's when it was going as much as 20 to 30%, 40% in some cases. That was an opportunity, and that opportunity was with my sleeve up, and I just went into the market and just kept buying and buying as much as I can, because I know this is the opportunity. And everybody that follows me, I told them this is the time where you can make wealth. This is a time where you can change the course of your generation for life. Now we're coming back
Mhm.
to the normal markets, right? Where it's 3%. 3% on $1 million is still a lot of money.
Yep.
Let's face it. And if you're still buying right, you will still make money. You just have to see where is the opportunity. Right now, it's a challenging time. And I think a lot of maybe new realtors, new investors might be discouraged. But the people that has very motivated, they're still going to make a lot of money. And this is a time that really, really differentiates the shot from what is it, the
The
grapes, right?
wheat.
The wheat, right? I think this is the time. So, but enough of excuses. If you want to do something, you can do it, and you have enough tools to do it.
Yeah, that sort of answers the question I was going to ask about, new investors sitting on the sideline waiting for the market to be perfect. Well, the question is, what is a perfect market to you, right? If you say that, you want it to crash, well, unless we're in a world war, real estate has always gone up. Of course, there are corrections like we're in right now. There are
Yeah,
corrections like during some kind of recession, maybe 2008, 2000 and what, maybe 17, 18. There was a mini thing going on there, and now the market is correcting. The price chart is not always good. It's never going to be a straight line up. It's always up, but it's never a straight line up. It's always choppy, right?
yeah.
So and you can be trying to get the very curve, like when it's about to drop, you sell, or when it's about to rise. No,
You
you're
can't time the
always
markets.
You can't. Uh, everyone that's tried to do that always comes up short. They always lose. So
The market
you,
has a mind of its own. Even for me, I can't time the market. There was a lot of properties that we had to on the line to flip when the interest rates and the new trend started setting this year. And I knew that the market was not going to be there forever. But even for me, as much as I live and breathe real estate, I still couldn't tell that this was going to happen at this particular time. And this is how further low it's going to get. So you really cannot time the market. And let me tell you, the people that were 2008, my parents already bought their house as of that time. But the people that made a lot of money in real estate are the ones that buy and own properties. So people that bought their properties in 2008, when the market was very hard, it was a very hard time to be an investor. Those people are the ones that are millionaires or billionaires right now because they held those properties for so long. Even in this down market, they are still making a lot of money.
that's
So
right.
sometimes you gotta think of, yeah, this might be a harder market than it was in 2020, but it's not my fault that you didn't take a step or you didn't take action. First of all, now that it's like this, are you still
Mm-hmm.
not going to take action? You need to maybe take a cue from people that bought in 2008, 2009, 2010. When you bought a property, it wasn't an easy time. It
Yep.
was a time where there was no money in the economy. Right now, I tell people, you guys are very fortunate because people are doing BA jobs, making $100,000 to $200,000 per household. As of that time, a household was making $50,000, and to raise a $15,000 down payment was very tough because we were
Yep.
saving $500 a month, if
Mm-hmm.
that. Right now, there's a lot of opportunities. You can go to YouTube and make money. You can go on Instagram and make money. There are people doing what they do on Amazon, making money on Amazon, and doing a lot of different things. The opportunities that we had that we didn't have then, they have it now. You can put your car on Toro. Most of the time, when I was on maternity leave, my car was just sitting in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, I could put my car in on Toro and have it work for me, right? At those time, we didn't have those opportunities. So I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunities right now. Once you figure out what you want to do and how much you need, I think that's the start. Once you figure out, then you figure out, how do I raise this money? Do I want to partner with friends? Do I want to add some extra streams of income to help me raise this capital? And once I do this, what strategies am I going to use to make sure that I secure this money and I can keep myself invested for a long time, right? I think that's those are some of the important questions that I will ask myself if I was an investor. I would just get out and get it done. If I need to sell wigs, I will go and get it done. Whatever it is that there's a lot of opportunities to make money, even in this time that people are complaining about.
Yeah. So it's a lot of times. You know, uh, what people tend to say then is that I really don't have that the kind of money to get started. Anybody that says that to you, what do you say to them? Like I have too little to do anything.
You know, I there's different things that run through my mind when people tell me that they don't have the money, because I don't believe in people making excuses. That's just my personality, okay? So I just go out and I get it done, right? I have four
Mm,
kids. People tell me, how do I do it? I tell people, if you throw yourself into an ocean, listen, you're gonna swim because you will know that this is a survivor. Your body goes into survival mode. It's either I
mm,
survive this or I die with the tide, right? So I believe that when you get to that situation and you be like, as a mom, I tell myself, if I see myself and I can't feed my kids, I will think of what is the best way for me to put food on my kids' table. So when you get to that situation and you get to that point where enough is enough of the excuses, let's just get this done. Then
mm.
your brain starts you start to say, it's like when you want to buy a Tesla, you start seeing Tesla all over the streets.
Yep.
When you want something, your brain just open up, right? You open up yourself and you start to see what are the different ways for me to make money. You start seeing your brother or your sister or your aunt saying, hey, I have $10,000 there and I don't have anything to do with it. Well, that's my avenue right there. You see
Mm-hmm.
people say, oh, I'm making money on YouTube. And all you're doing is talking, or some people, some people are just doing makeup, and people are watching it and they are making money. They're doing what they love in their home, in the comfort of their home, with their cell phone, and somebody is paying them for it. My talk is when you're at that point where you are like enough is enough, and that was the point I got to. I
Mm,
get out and I get it done. Period.
yeah.
And surround yourself with people that believe in your goals, people that are going to help you, that are going to hold your hand. You might see some of us on Facebook and Instagram and all glammed up and stuff, but I am not afraid to share my story as to I didn't start from here. I started
Mm-hmm.
from a very low point and I gradually worked myself up. And I am still working myself up. And there's still a lot of challenges, even at the points where we are, but we the same you get exposed to bigger demons, right?
Yeah.
The demon at the lower level is not the same demon at the middle or top
Mm,
level.
that's
There's
right.
bigger demons, stronger, smarter ones. The ones that have smart. What is the term? Smart demons, right? Electronic. They have electronics and all of that. They are the ones fighting right now. So
Yeah.
at every point that you are, there's always going to be challenges, but your way of navigating through the challenges, I think, is what really differentiates you if you're going to be successful or if you're not going to be.
That's right. There's a saying that if there is a will, there's a way. You know,
Yeah,
people who are desperate have a way of figuring things out of the blues. They just kind of figure it out and they get it done. So there are many other excuses that we can give to, like too much money, the market is not right, this and that. Of course, you need to do your due diligence, but the time to get into the market, like Deborah just said, is always now. If you sit on the sidelines, there are people. Honestly, it got to a point where uh, I began to feel like, okay, people thought that I'm encouraging them to buy homes because I was a realtor. This was like way back in 2018. And there were people that I would encourage, I would hustle for them, find a mortgage broker to work with them, but they were just dragging their feet. Even till now, I still have people who are not necessarily putting it all in because they're like, I have to make sure that it all works perfectly. I have some close folks that they really want the number to work well, and for them in their mind, the way the number has to work well is it like they need to be able to rent a basement, but their price range doesn't really fit them
yeah,
being able to afford. So I'm like, if we sit around this thing again, then we will lose another slowdown until the market picks up again, and we will be
yeah,
back even if your income went up and you can qualify for more. At that time, the property prices goes up, and you're
yeah.
back at the same level.
Yeah, and if people think about it too, another way of thinking about it is right now, um, the price has gone down a little bit, but interest has gone up.
Right,
So you are almost paying to you, you're paying almost the same amount. The only difference is instead of me maybe owing $1 million in mortgage, now I'm owing just $800,000. But my monthly payment is still the same thing.
right.
Now when the market picks up or when interest rates comes down, my loan amount is still only 800,000. So I can lock it in at that rate. So if you think about it as an end user or a first time buyer, you would see that well, it's still the same thing. And the rent market is on fire right now. I don't know if you noticed, but
Mm,
there's a lot of multiple bidding in the rental world. So what are your choices? What are your options? If you don't buy, then you're gonna go rent because you gotta help me achieve my financial goal. You gotta pay my bills.
that's
So
right.
if you decide not to buy, well, I am very happy to rent my house to you at premium price.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Was it you I was talking to? No, it was my last guest that I was talking to, and she said some people wanted to sell that she knew. She was trying to discourage them from selling, but they wouldn't listen. So she told them, you know what, sell it to me.
I'm gonna buy it.
Because they want to rent, right? They want to continue rent. So sell it to me, I rent it to you. And then they started thinking like, okay, so if we're gonna sell it to her, and she's gonna rent it to us, and we're gonna pay her rent,
What's
then
our motivation for doing that? There was very reason why.
exactly.
Yeah,
So that was how they came around that okay, we'll keep the house. The other thought that came to me while you spoke about buy and hold, even though you could call it the most boring strategy, it's really the most effective is because when you hold again, you can't try to be catching the crest or the value of the market, but when you ride the market for a long time, you catch every wave, every spike, every surge. You're in there.
Yeah,
That's why the real estate is a time game. The longer you're willing to stay at it, stay in there, the better it's going to be for you.
for sure. Because the people that bought in 2008, like I said, they all refinanced, got a lot of money,
Yep.
spend it on buying more houses. Some of them spent it on living their life, and honestly, they're still there, and their property still breaks even because now they have opportunity to raise the rents because every tenant's moved out and all of that. So there are always opportunities. I think the most important thing for a lot of people is mindsets. Um, where is your mindset? What made Deborah did what she did? What make all of your oaths just decide that you know what, enough is enough. Once you get to that point, once you get to that mindset, I think entrepreneurship itself is a mindset. Just making sure that I tell people, if you throw me to the hole, I will still monetize this. I'll monetize the whole day and I will still make money and come out on top.
Mm.
So once you want, it's a mindset of once you get there. And I've been like this once I was since I was a child. I finished school. My dad was sacked from his employment and he was the breadwinner, and he worked there for 20 years, and one day they just let him go. And I decided nobody's gonna do that to me. I am going to determine when I want to let people go. People are not gonna do that to me. So that's a mindset I've had since when I was a young person. So now, even with real estate, I still have multiple streams of income because now, as an entrepreneurship, when you see a problem, is how am I going to solve this problem? So once you get to that mindset, lens or level, then things start falling into place because you start thinking, okay, the question is not, is it possible? You've seen people do it, you've seen a lot of testimonies. Is how am I going to do it? What is it going to take me? What is it going to take you, Joseph, to get from this point to here? And once you figure out the
Mm.
steps, then you just check it one by one. Go learn, go hire a realtor, go get a mortgage broker, get your money ready. You just start to check the box because now you know they are. And I think that's what you're doing in this webcast. And I think it's really interesting. And I think it's a platform where a lot of people can gain a lot of things and grow, and also see other people that looks like them to say, hey, if this person can do it, then I can do it. Because a lot of us, when we started, I didn't see people like me that could do it. I just saw other people that were not like me, and they could
Mm.
do it because some of these people they have inheritance. But I figured out a way and said, hey, I can do it. But now people have the opportunity because real estate is now, there's a lot of programs out there where you can pay and they can teach you and all of that. And you don't have to be looking for YouTube and Googling. You can have mentors that can actually hold your hand to get it done. Now is a question of, am I ready to do it?
Yeah, that's right. Are you ready? And that's a question to everybody today. Are you ready to take action? Or are you going to sit on the sidelines for another year, another decade? I'd say now is the time. Now is the
Yeah.
time. Get going. Thanks a lot. We'll be wrapping up in a minute here. It's been about an hour of straight up download from Deborah Holmes. Thanks a lot for coming. It's been a huge learning opportunity for the house here. If people wanted to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
You can follow me on Deborah Ohms on all social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, Deborah Ojo. If you type my name on Google, you'll see a lot of social media links to me. And if you wanted to reach me, my cell phone is 647-705-247, 647-705-247. And Joseph is my wonderful friend. When he asked me, Deborah, come and debunk some of these real estate strategies, I couldn't say no. Um, so I really want to thank you for inviting me. It's been a long time, and it's honestly very. It feels very good to see people that you've been with for a long time do well, also in real estate, and just able to talk and mingle together and have the same experiences because we grow, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we just grow out of relationship. They grow out of ideas and things they can actually talk to with together. But just the fact that we can actually sit here and talk about real estate was really good. So I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, same here. It's been exciting. I mean, just talking about our history with work and all of that is just so exciting. We have to do this again. We
For
we we
sure.
we, we
Next
definitely
time
need to
I will
do
be
this again.
interviewing you, okay? I will be the one interviewing you.
Sure, whichever way it goes, this is so much fun. I want to do it again. So yeah, and I know that we will eventually come back again and get to pick strategies one at a time so that we can actually do a deep dive and bring some more value to our viewers. So looking forward to doing that sometimes very soon.
Thank
um, I see a question here. Let me see if it's something that we can address before we take off. So the question we address: can those outside Canada participate, and how can they? Well, you know what? I'll let you answer that, Deborah. The question is that can those outside Canada participate in the real estate market here? But how will they manage their investments?
I think you have to book a consultation appointment. But basically, yes, people outside of Nigeria can participate. Now, the barrier is a little bit more difficult for a lot of people to participate, but it's something that can be done. And definitely, you're going to leverage on property managers, real estate agents, mortgage brokers to help you to secure your investments. But yes, I've seen a lot of people get it done.
Yeah. So it's possible, like Deborah just said, but there are new rules that the government has put in place to kind of slow the market down because the market was like a rocket in the past couple of years. So, but it's still possible. Reach out, book a consultation, and someone will be able to walk you through step by step. Once again, big thanks to everybody for coming out. Big thanks to our guest Deborah Holmes for coming on the show today. She's giving you a social media handle, but you could just Google Deborah Ojo real estate or anything like that. She will pop right up because she's right there doing her thing. Once again, thanks everybody for coming on the show. Looking forward to another episode by next week, Monday at noon, same time, same place. It's been an awesome time today. God bless you all and have a wonderful week ahead. Deborah, any last words?
Yeah, just get the next time I'm speaking to your audience, I hope they will be sharing testimonies of, yeah, this really challenged me and I just got up and I got it done. So I'm looking forward to read testimonies.
That's why we do this, people. So please make sure you get back to us on how you're doing. The comments will keep us going. The testimonies will keep us going. It will keep us, energized to make sure that to know that we're actually impacting life. So please send your feedbacks. God bless you all. Once again, it's been an awesome time. We thank you all for coming and have a wonderful week ahead.